Hey, my name is Emily Whitehurst, and I have a solo project called Survival Guide. You might remember me as Agent M, former vocalist of the punk band Tsunami Bomb, but Survival Guide is very different from that. I just released an album on Double Helix Records called Death Dreams. It's synthy, sort of new wave-ish, sort of cinematic indie pop stuff, and I got to work with an amazing producer, Bob Hogue. I think you'll like it, and maybe you will love it. You can find it on any music streaming service under Survival Guide, and it's also on vinyl until we run out. There are 5 beautiful vinyl variants, but only 100 of each. You can find me on social media under Survival Guide Music, or find everything at my website, which is Survival Guide without vowels. So that's srvvlgd.com. Hope to see you around online or at a live show.
AV in your ears, that's Ambush Van, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Emily Whitehurst from the band Survival Guide. In this episode, we get to know Emily and how she got into the music scene. Some folks may remember her as Agent M from the pop-punk band Tsunami Bomb, and then later from the band The Action Design. Both of those bands, she played all over the world, and she did quite a bit of touring with the Vans Warped Tour. So if you went to any of those Vans Warped Tour shows, you probably ran into her, or at least saw her perform. And in this episode, we talk about everything from when she got her first Christmas tree as an adult, to some of the different bands that she has played with, why she decided to use a typewriter as an instrument, and then we talk about her newest album, Death Dreams, which was inspired by, you guessed it, having dreams about dying. Now, as morbid and dreary as that sounds, this album is neither of those things. This album is poppy, it is dancey, it is fun, and I love it. Plus, she lets me play my favorite song off the album. Again, Survival Guide, the new album is called Death Dreams, and this is my conversation with Survival Guide's very own Emily Whitehurst.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Emily Whitehurst. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderflonium. Now, Emily, everybody listening is going to freak out when they find out where you are.
Oh, yeah?
Because we're doing this over Zoom. This is weird. Emily, where are you right now?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
What? Get right on out of the city. I can't understand why we're not doing this face-to-face, because so am I.
Oh, what?
I'm actually in Bernie, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So welcome to San Antonio. I think you've been here like 5 years or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Now, what I like to do normally is start from the beginning, like where you grew up and born and raised. But first, I got to know why your husband dragged you to San Antonio.
Just work stuff, job opportunity type stuff.
Does he have a cool job?
No.
Rad. That's cool. Hopefully he's not listening. So, Emily, where were you born and raised? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Central California.
In the bathroom?
Yes. Los Baños, which
Los
we
Baños.
all pronounced Los Banos.
So, born and raised in Los Baños, California.
Yeah, my grandparents lived there. My great-grandparents lived there.
So, that's a relatively small town, right?
Yes.
So, you had no super cool, thriving music scene to grow up listening to? You had to rely on MTV?
Yes, I had to rely on MTV, and then once I could drive and was able to buy myself a car, I had to drive elsewhere to go see live music.
Where's the closest place that you would go to see music?
Merced. It's about 35 minutes from there.
Oh, rad. So what was the first concert that you drove yourself to?
I don't remember what the very first one that I drove myself to was, because there was a venue that we used to go to called the Fatty Mocha which was like a little coffee shop type, weird underground venue type thing. That was the size of a coffee shop.
That sounds dope as hell.
I mean, it was just, we would just see, whoever was playing, local bands. It was too small of a place for any sort of touring act to really come through there. But the notable show that actually I did not drive myself to, my best friend's brother drove us, but we went to see Green Day in Oakland. And that was a really big deal for me.
It was a huge deal because that's when you decided, hey, all music doesn't suck. There's this thing called punk or pop punk.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to sidetrack just a minute. What was the plan? What did you want to be when you grew up before you found music?
I did not really have a plan, but I did enjoy languages a lot. I enjoyed learning languages and I wanted to learn as many languages as I could.
How many do you know?
I only really know one language.
Which one?
English.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, go ahead. All right, rock on.
Second most, I would say Spanish. And then I've taken some classes in French, Japanese, German, and Mandarin. I mess around with different language learning apps and stuff, and I just feel like it's really fun. So I maybe would have done something with languages, but even at that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I kind of just wanted to go to college and figure that out. But then, music happened to me. And even then, I didn't really know what I wanted to do because music is not the most stable of careers. And coming from a small town, it's not like there was a whole network of people to be an example for me. It wasn't until I was in college and touring, wanting to tour full time with a booking agent, that I realized I should probably take this opportunity to tour and take a semester off from college instead of continuing. Although I did return for one final semester, but it was not enough for me to graduate.
Nice. How short are you?
How short am I? Like my height?
No, from graduating.
Oh, just a few units, but I have had an impossible time trying to get those units. I maybe have given up. Every so often I'll be like, you know what? I should really finish. I'm so close to finishing. And so I try to, meet with a counselor, and I can only get so far before they're like, okay, well, you're going to have to wait and you're going to have to talk to this person. And then they had a hard time finding my transcripts. It just has been a mess.
Where did you go to school?
Sonoma State. It's in Rohnert Park, which is in Sonoma County, just north of San Francisco.
Got you. So a big wine university?
Yes.
What did your parents want you to be? I know it's not this.
Correct. They never pushed any particular career path on me. I just know that they definitely wanted me to graduate college.
And they're still wanting.
I did not do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about music.
Okay.
Except for your parents, I think maybe your parents, all of your siblings, like all of their kids got into music, right?
Yes.
Did y'all all just go buck wild playing music? Everybody but mom and dad?
My dad has some musical talent. There's some people in my family who have musical talent, but they never tried to do anything with it publicly. But yeah, my brothers and I all ended up doing music in one way or another, whether that was in bands.
Are you the youngest of all of them?
No.
Okay.
I have two younger brothers.
And one older,
one
and two
older,
younger?
Yeah.
And they're all in music?
Mm-hmm. Well, three of us were in bands. Actually, my two younger brothers did stuff more formally as well. My youngest brother was in the school band, like marching band, played trombone and played the quad drums. So he did like field performance type stuff.
Is that what it's called? It's called quad drums?
The marching thing with the four drums. Yeah. The quads.
How am I 75 years old and this is the first I have heard of that term? I did not know that.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know it before he was doing that.
Sure. You got into music. Was this while you were at college when you decided to start playing, or was this before college?
It was before college. I started a band in high school.
Generic Asphalt?
Generic Asphalt, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My brothers had a band first called Primrose Path, and then they
led you down it?
Yes.
See what I did there?
Yes.
Jesus, that was so corny. I apologize.
That's okay. It's made perfect sense.
Oh my gosh.
So after they disbanded, because my older brother went to college. I sort of took some of their band members and...
I thought you were going to say equipment.
No. I should have, but no.
You created Generic Asphalt with your brother's ex-bandmates?
Yes.
Rad. This is going to sound so, hopefully not insulting, but what made you think you could be in a band? Like, I always wanted to do things, but I was like, there's no way I could do that. What gave you the confidence to actually, I mean, stage fright is like the number one fear that people have when they're born or whatever.
Is it really?
Just the number one fear that people have that they're just innately born with. Like, I mean, if you fall off a ladder, then you're afraid of heights or whatever. If you get bit by something, you're afraid of that. But public speaking is the number one fear that is, I guess, congenital.
Interesting. I did not know that.
So what made you think you could do it? Stand in front of these people and sing your guts out?
A couple of things. I always enjoyed performing. You know, when I was in elementary school, I enjoyed when we would have the holiday show or whatever, where all the kids are singing. Like, I would always want to be doing some sort of a solo, you know, I would be volunteering to be doing some solo stuff in those type of things. I liked being in the school plays. So public speaking, not so much, but performing is different for me. Like, I've always enjoyed that.
How is that different?
I think because the content is set. Like, you're singing a song or you're performing, some lines from a play. Whereas I guess if I had a speech to read, if I had something to read, I could do that. But if I had to get up debate club, like, I would never want to do that.
So as long as it's scripted or you know what you're supposed to be doing, you're fine. But off the dome, you're just like, nah.
Yeah, I'm not into freestyling. I mean, I do that at home when I'm washing dishes, but not for the public.
Sure, that'd be amazing. You should Twitch stream that. So has there been any thought to maybe in, 40 more years or so, putting that first band back together and call it Geriatric Asphalt?
Not until now.
So after that was what, Plinky?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. What's a Plinky?
It's just a fun word that tonally describes the music and the fun message that we were trying to convey with that very happy pop punk band.
So that particular project was all uplifting and fun and lets everybody get excited and have a good time?
Yeah, just really happy sounding music.
Yeah, this lady can't keep a job. Then you went on to what? The action design?
No, then was Tsunami Bomb.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so Tsunami Bomb. Tell me about that. So you were friends with them, and then what happened?
Their singer moved away. We were both in the same local scene, just like playing local shows together, Plinky and Tsunami Bomb.
Was this in the Sonoma area or somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Their singer moved away, and so they needed a new singer. So they asked me if I would join the band, and I did. And there was some overlap because the first Tsunami Bomb music release was a split 7-inch that was Plinky on one side and Tsunami Bomb on the other side with me singing.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and my brother recorded the music for us. Like, we recorded on his 4-track.
You mean like he engineered it?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? Is the coolest story. Do you still have some of those?
Yeah.
No, I sold all of them, Steve.
They sold out, but I do have at least one floating around here somewhere.
That brings me to another sidetrack. You have an affinity for vinyl, and yet you're way too young to have an affinity for vinyl. Because I know that every once in a while, well, I don't say every once in a while, but when you release stuff, you release it on vinyl.
I try to, yeah.
You'll do different variants. You'll just do whatever you can do to be on vinyl. Why vinyl?
I think it's a really fantastic medium for music. For me, it definitely started out with that first 7-inch, Tsunami Bomb and Plinky.
So this would have been what year-ish?
2000, maybe?
Okay, so in 2000, there was not a whole lot of vinyl going on?
No, but there was for underground bands, especially in punk. And split 7-inches were common, kind of. I don't know whether people were listening to these 7-inch records.
Or just collecting them?
Yeah, I don't know.
But it doesn't matter, right? Because you give them a code?
Well, no, back then there were no downloads.
Oh, wow, you're old. That's crazy.
I mean, 2000, that's a long time ago now.
Weird side note. People keep telling me that cassettes are trying to make a comeback. And I'm like, what the fudge are you talking about? I interviewed a guy who, I want to call it a record company, but whatever. He only releases artists on cassette. I was just like, that's the weirdest. I mean, he was a super nice guy and he was out in Vegas, but I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Just cassettes. He's like, well, yeah, I mean, they can get vinyl from anywhere. They can get CDs from anywhere.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm like, you keep saying the word cassette. Like, you know what it means. I guess he knows what it means.
That's definitely not the best. Not the best.
What? Are you kidding? That is the fantasticest. Come on, you can't repair a vinyl record with some Scotch tape.
True.
Now, Tsunami Bomb, they were pretty big. You were pretty big. So you guys toured all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why you decided to take a course in Japanese, right? Because you went to Japan?
I mean, yeah. I love Japan.
I know, right? So you learned Japanese just because you were in Tsunami Bomb. Just kidding. Okay, so how was your music received all over the world? Because Tsunami Bomb was a pretty popular pop punk band. How were you received in other countries?
Depends on the country.
Okay, Antarctica.
I have no idea.
I'm just kidding.
But we had the opportunity to tour all over Europe and Japan and Canada, in addition to the US. And I feel like a lot of it was dependent on how many times we were able to return. At the time, that was the best way to build a following.
You traveled over there multiple times to tour?
Yes, not to Japan. We only got to go there once.
Sure.
But yeah, we went over to Europe multiple times, various tours.
Now, growing up in the super small town of Los Baños, California, what were your expectations when you went out to the big wide world?
I expected to love it.
And did you?
I did.
Oh, cool. So were you scared or anything?
Not really. I really enjoyed traveling internationally with a group and with a purpose. I could see maybe being scared if I was going backpacking through non-English speaking countries by myself, but being with a group and having a purpose there, it was really insulated in a way that made it not really stressful at all. And it was very fun. And I think because of growing up in a small town, I always dreamt about going all over the place. I always was very interested in international travel and daydreamed about it. I mean, that's one reason why I continued in music, because it gave me those opportunities to travel extensively. And I would love to do it some more.
Well, the day is young. We're going to get right into it. We're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to do the work.
Okay.
We talked about music, and I want to talk about girls.
Okay.
You're a girl. You're a girl in music.
Yes.
I've heard women explain that it's a boys' club. I've also heard women explain that they can't tell a difference in how they're treated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's your experience being a woman in a predominantly male-driven profession?
Yeah.
And being on the road with just a bunch of dudes, I imagine.
Definitely being in punk rock, there were, at least at the time, there were hardly any other women on stage or around in general on tours. It wasn't difficult for me. I grew up with brothers. I've always been able to have, male friends. It's not weird for me or anything. I mean, it's a tough question because I've always been a woman in music. So my experience is just what it is.
Yeah, because what are you supposed to compare it to? You've never been a man in music.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it's like to be a man in music. So being a woman in music for me is just it's just life.
Did you ever feel like your opinions weren't heard or your suggestions weren't acknowledged or anything like that? You hear a lot about that in, the cubicle workspace or the corporate world.
Yeah, I have felt like that at times with certain band members. I've had a lot of band members over the years, being in all these different bands. So yeah, there are definitely some band members that I've had that I've been like, okay, I can tell that you don't value my opinion as highly as other people in this band might. But I hadn't really thought about that too much. I was going to say it didn't really hold me back or stop me from anything, but maybe it did. And I haven't really thought about that. As far as touring and being out there and interacting with people and other bands and venues and stuff, I always felt respected. I was respected in my bands and on tours and with crews, and I didn't have any major issues with that. Management and labels, I've always felt respected by them as well. The main story that comes to mind when I think about my history as a woman in a band was when the first year that Tsunami Bomb played Warped Tour and we had like sticky passes. We didn't have the really professional laminates to get backstage. We had these sticky passes, and we had played our set, and we were heading backstage, and the security guard, who was a woman, was not letting me backstage.
Just you?
Yeah, just me. The guys all went in. She was like, no, you're not getting back here. And I was like, first off, I have a pass. Look at this pass that says, band on it. I just played a show, and she was not going to let me in. She was like, I don't believe you. You cannot come back here. And I did feel very offended. I was like, are you serious? Like, yes, I'm with these guys that are in a band, but only because I'm in the band too. And right then, this girl came up and was like, oh my God, I loved your set. Like, will you sign this for me? And had a thing with my face on it and stuff. I was signing it, looking at the security guard, like,
you just staring at that lady. That's awesome.
Now you have to let me in.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
My Grandpa's Grandpa is an award-winning children's book. The story is that a grandfather, me, is tucking in Charlie, my grandson. Like all little children, he starts asking questions at bedtime. The questions he asks are about my grandfather. This book is a great way to think about how you can share stories of your family members with your children and grandchildren. You can order this book by going to Amazon or my website, cool-grandpa.us. If you purchase the book from my website, be sure to use the coupon code FS25 and save 25% on your order of my book, My Grandpa's Grandpa, from now until the end of the year.
Let's get back into it.
Okay, you brought up the Warped Tour, Vans Warped Tour. You guys played there one time. No, wait a minute. You played the Warped Tour. I can't even count that high. How many times did you play the Warped Tour?
We were on it 4 different years, and then I also was on it for Action Design. I've actually played it a couple more times since Tsunami Bomb.
Am I correct that there was this one year where you played like every date of the Vans Warped Tour?
Yeah, there was one year where they invited us to play the whole thing.
Now, I don't want to hear any numbers. I'm uninterested in that. But is the pay to play the Warped Tour enough to get the whole band to the next show?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it varies from band to band. And of course, this was a long time ago, but our pay every day was exactly half of the daily cost of having a bus. So we actually split a tour bus with other bands for the tour and put all of our pay into half of the bus. Does that make sense?
It does. How many people were on that bus?
I believe it was a 12-bunk bus.
So it wasn't the Boss Tones, because they would have taken 13 bunks.
No, yeah. I think we had 2 crew. So there were 6 of us. So we had to find other bands that had 6 or less, which was 4 band members and 2 crew.
That sounds like a fun time with a lot of cool stories. How many dates? Do you remember how many dates that tour was?
I feel like it was 6 weeks long.
Wow.
I can't remember exactly the number of dates, but we also were insane and would fill some of the off days with like regular shows. We did that sometimes. I know there was one stretch that we did that was 23 shows in a row with no days off. I've never done more than that. That was ridiculous.
23 shows in a row. Like 23 days, 23 shows.
Yeah.
And that was for the Warped Tour?
Yeah. I think that was because we did shows on the off days though. So it'd be like, 7, 8, maybe 10. I don't remember how many days they would string together max in a row for Warped. But on whatever off days we had, we filled them with other shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your 10,000 hours doing the Vans Warped Tour. And so that was mostly with Tsunami Bomb, but some with the Action Design.
Yes.
What happened to Tsunami Bomb? Be as delicate as you feel like being.
Thank you. It was not necessarily too much of a delicate situation. It was more like the way that everything was happening at that time. It was like there was nothing strong for us to stand on. It was a very weird time. It was like we were having issues with our label, our management, our booking agent, like all different kinds of issues. Like we switched booking agents and we weren't super happy. And we had a band member that was going to leave and we weren't sure if we should look for someone else. And we weren't totally on the same page with songwriting at the time. We were getting ready to write our third album for the label. And that was all kind of a mess. So it was like we didn't have something strong to hold us up, including each other. There wasn't a crazy fallout. There was nothing like really insanely bad that happened. It was more just like, well, maybe this is our time to call it quits. So we did.
Are you still friends with any of the members? Oh, wait, did you take a member with you to the action design?
I did. Yeah. Matty Dirtbike, our bass player.
Matty Dirtbike?
No, that's his nickname. Matt McKenzie.
Man, for a second,
Yes.
I thought you said Matty Dirtbag, and I was like, you don't like this guy? What happened? Okay, so how was the music different from Tsunami Bomb to the action design?
We decided that we wanted to play music that was still high energy, but not necessarily punk. We wanted to introduce the keyboard and we wanted to just have a little bit more freedom musically. And we were really into some of the high energy indie stuff, like indie rock stuff that was happening at the time, like Metric and Block Party. We wanted to kind of lean in that direction.
Okay, so before we get to Survival Guide, I want to talk a little bit more about the transition from Tsunami Bomb to the action design. When you guys got to the action design, you and Matty Dirtbike, did you guys have a conversation about, hey, let's not let the wheels fall off the bus like we did with our last project? Like, was there a conversation to specifically address, quote unquote, keeping our shit together?
Not really. We probably should have had that discussion,
You
but
look at each other, you're like, it wasn't us. So
yeah, we were kind of getting bogged down by the non-music side of the music industry. So I think part of us, we also wanted to just get away from that and get back to enjoying music and enjoying making music and just doing what we wanted with music.
Isn't it amazing how much corporate involvement can just ruin creativity in all of its aspects?
Yeah, it's really depressing.
When was it during all of this timeline of different bands that you did that song with MXPX?
The first time I recorded with MXPX, I was in the action design because our drummer, Jake, was the one who recorded my tracks for me.
Gotcha. And how did that come about? You guys made connections on the Warped Tour or what?
We met them on Warped Tour, but I was surprised when they invited me to sing on that record. I didn't know that they had ever really known, it was like we met them on Warped Tour, but we didn't really hang out with them a ton or make any strong sort of relationship. So when they invited me to do that, I was like, wow, okay, yeah. Because I actually was a huge MXPX fan back in the day, in my early punk rock days.
Who's not? I know you were on Mike Herrera's podcast. That is actually when I found out you lived in San Antonio.
Oh.
I was like, holy shit. Why is this on Zoom? That was a fun episode of you on his show.
Oh, thank you.
I have to have an answer to this question before I move on because it's been driving me
Okay.
crazy. Is it true that as an adult, you never had a Christmas tree until you moved to San Antonio?
As an adult, I never had my own Christmas tree. Yes, it is true.
Until you moved to the desert.
Till I moved to San Antonio. It's because I moved away from my family.
Sure.
So not having my own when I was able to go home for Christmas easy, and have a Christmas tree there, I didn't ever feel like it was necessary.
But did you decorate? You just didn't have a tree?
Somewhat, yeah, but no big real tree or anything, just some minimal decorations.
All right, rad. We're almost to Survival Guide.
Okay.
Almost. As far as I understand it, there's a band, I think they're a country band, kind of locally here in San Antonio called the 501s.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do with them? M and the 501s. Tell me about that project.
Yep. M and the 501s. It's my first venture into original country music. I met those guys just through being here in the music scene in San Antonio, and the 501s are a country cover band. They also have their own originals, and I offered to, if they ever wanted any harmonies or anything like female harmonies, that I would love to do that with them. And then I had this Christmas song floating around in my mind that for some reason was like a Patsy Cline song. And I came up with it before I moved here. So I was still living in California when I wrote it. And I asked the 501s if they would be interested in recording the instrumentation for me, because I'm not a country instrumentalist at all. So they said yes.
But isn't punk almost country?
Yeah, I guess in a way. They definitely have some similarities, but I wanted it to be more legit than that. Like Travis played pedal steel on it. And I mean, those guys, they know what they're doing because they've been doing it for a while. And it just also seemed like it would be much more fun.
And was it?
Yeah, it was great. We played the song live at some of the 501 shows.
How sweet.
Yeah.
Now, it's a Christmas song, right?
Yes.
And hit it. What made you want to do a Christmas song?
I was invited to be part of a Christmas performance special, like / recital type thing that was happening in Sonoma County when I was living there, with a whole bunch of friends that put on different events. And I was invited to either do, a traditional Christmas song or an original Christmas song. And I was solo at the time, as I am now, and just decided I feel like it'd be more fitting for me to write a song and perform it than it would be to learn a song. I was also a lot less confident on piano at the time too. So I enlisted one of my brothers to play guitar on it. And that's how we performed it. And that performance is on YouTube as well. So my brother and I performed it for that Christmas recital.
How would somebody find that on YouTube? What would they have to search?
The song is called My Man Hates Christmas. And
does he?
Yeah, he does.
Is that why you didn't have a Christmas tree until a few minutes ago?
It is partially why, yes. Yes,
Love
that's partially
it.
Why.
That is hilarious. So it's called My Man Hates Christmas.
Yeah. So if you were to search, I don't know sure there's a better, easier search to find it. But if you search Survival Guide, My Man Hates Christmas, it would come up for sure.
Okay. We've said the words survival guide a lot. So before we get crazy into it, I'm going to ask you for one survival guide tip. Why is it important to always pack a swimsuit?
Because you never know when you're going to be in a situation where you might need a swimsuit. Is that a tip that I provided before? Because I do feel like that is a really important.
It is a tip that you have provided before,
okay.
And it made me laugh my ass off. And so I wanted to bring it up because you said, like, even if you're going to go to somewhere where it's cold in the winter, you never know who's going to have a jacuzzi. And I was like, what? So apparently this was an issue once or twice.
Yeah, it came from touring, because when you're on tour, if the tour is long enough, you're going to hit every single type of weather. If you're in the US, at least. If the tour is a few weeks long and it's not just summer in the South.
Hey, wait a minute. I take personal offense to that. It was only 150 degrees like most of summer this year.
Yeah. But I mean, if the tour is slightly longer and it's not only the South, then you're going to hit all different kinds of weather. It just varies so wildly that you really never know. And I have been on winter tours that are very cold and then really regretted not bringing my swimsuit because you just don't know. On a tour, you don't know where you're going to stay. You might stay at a motel that has a hot tub, or one that randomly has an indoor pool, or
an Airbnb where somebody's got a tub.
Yeah, exactly. You just never know. I've regretted it too many times, and now I always bring the swimsuit.
Always.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. A weekend getaway to Canada's North Face, and you're taking one just in case. Okay, you've been in the business for 20 years, give or take, right?
Yeah.
When is the last time you had your mom's rigatoni and pepperoni? You see how those things aren't connected at all? Rigatoni, pepperoni, when's the last time you had it?
I can't remember the exact date, but it is one of the dishes that I request from her every so often when I am traveling to visit her. So I would say probably a year or so since I've had it made by my mom.
Word on the street is that if you were going to die on death row or whatever, that would be your last meal. And I think that is real sweet.
It's delicious.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this thing. It is called Survival Guide. Survival Guide is a project that started off with somebody else, and now it is just you. It is almost exclusively electronic music. Is that right?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm analyzing the newest album that just came out. It's got a lot of live drums on it.
The newest album is called Death Dreams. I have a hunch what inspired it, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So I had a chance to listen to this album, which, by the way, I probably have listened to that album without exaggeration, maybe 20 times.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. I put it on and while we were cooking and doing things in the house, and I was like, hey, babe, check this out. And we probably listened to it 3 times in a row, just the very first time.
That's awesome.
And then, just all week as I was, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to talk to Emily this week. I should check it out. Even today, I've listened to it 4 times. It's super catchy. And I guess you're going to say that it is one specific genre, but I don't feel that it is. I feel that it is a few different genres, all closely related. For instance, Fight Me is one of the tracks. That sounds like it could be a song by The Cure. Like that could be on one of The Cure's albums.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And then there's another song. It's called I'll Picture You.
Mm-hmm.
I know you love Lana Del Rey, but you don't think that any of your stuff is kind of in her style. But that song, I'll Picture You, it sounds to me like it could have been written by her. And you kind of sing it in a very sort of a chanteuse style, right? Like a high society lounge club singer kind of thing. It is a beautiful song. And if I'm not mistaken, it is one of the Death Dreams, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, God, could I talk more? Tell me about the dream, which I guess you had a few death dreams and that expired the whole album. But tell me about that particular dream.
Oh, well, I dreamt that I was about to crash a car.
Were you driving?
Yes, I was driving. I was by myself. I was about to crash. And so I was very calm about it. I was like, I'm going to die. I mean, it says it straight in the lyrics, which I almost didn't use because they're so literal. Like, it spells out the entire dream.
It's okay if lyricists are literal sometimes. I mean, look at Chubby Checker. He literally told us how to do the twist.
Right. That's true. That's true.
The Macarena, same thing. Oh, no, wait, they didn't tell us how to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, I just left it because I just felt like there wasn't another better way to say it than to just say it how it was. So I was very calmly about to die, and I just was like, okay, well, I'm going to think of my husband, and it's just going to be the last thing in my mind whenever I die, and that's what I want. And the dream itself, it was more like when I woke up, I was just like, wow. I mean, I hope that's how I feel when I don't know what my death will be like, but.
So in the dream, you knew you were about to die, and so you consciously said to yourself in the dream, I'm going to think of my husband so that that's the last thing that goes through my mind before I die?
Yeah.
What was his reaction when you told him about this dream?
He didn't have any sort of extreme reaction.
He was just like, that's cool. I'd like a little cream in my coffee this time. Like, I don't know if I even told him about it immediately. I don't think I did. And I wrote the song and I didn't really play it for him. So when he heard it, he was like, who's this about?
Yeah. It's really emotional. It's like a really emotional song for both of us, really.
It's a really, really beautiful song.
Thank you.
There's another song on the album. It's called Sour Sorrow. I think it's the second track.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, based on what it sounds like, you use a typewriter as an instrument?
Yeah, I mean, it was a sample, but yes.
Why? That's the dopest thing ever. Like, it sounds so cool. What made you think to do that?
I really enjoy using sound effects as parts of songs. I would like to do it more. There's only a few examples of it on the album, but
are you going to use the Wilhelm scream in any of your songs?
Maybe. I probably should have used that on Stay Dead. That would have been awesome. Yeah, that would have been great. Or on Blood Perfume, maybe. Yeah, I think when I started writing the song, it was sort of written in almost like a letter. So that tied in with the idea of typing it all out on a typewriter. And it just fit really well with the concept.
This is a brand new album, right? This just came out a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And I think you had like a launch party or something in San Antonio, like you did a show to promote the thing, right?
Yes.
How'd that go?
Good. Good. I mean, it was not huge or anything.
Sorry I couldn't be there.
That is okay.
I know you were counting on me, but I'm sorry.
That would have been cool, but that's okay.
We had out-of-town guests, and they don't like you. So,
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
This holiday season, give the gift of an unforgettable story. Rise of the Unicorn by D. Elliott Woods is a chart-climbing crime suspense thriller that's opening eyes and winning hearts. With unexpected twists and a powerful message, you can find it on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes as an audiobook, and it's available in paperback and ebook formats on all major platforms. Even more exciting, it's narrated by the author. Gus turned to the camera. What do you want? Let's skip the games. What do you want? The speakers again came alive.
We want our questions answered. What is more valuable than money?
Make this season memorable with a gift they'll cherish. Rise of the Unicorn by D. Elliott Woods.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
Let's get back into it.
okay, so you mentioned Blood Perfume. I believe it's the fourth song on the album.
Yes.
That song really gets your attention right off the bat because there's this intense driving beat, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this whimsical little bell. That bell, it just goes throughout the whole song. And I just kept finding myself just using my little finger, like my index finger, like I was ringing the bell at a hotel desk.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just like, oh, this is so catchy. I love those songs.
Thank you.
I'm not going to tell you what my favorite song is
Why not?
yet,
Oh, okay.
because I have some things to say about some of the other songs. So you have a song on there called Sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a foodie. You love baking and food and things.
Yes, I do.
The first time that I heard that, it was through a sound system that wasn't the greatest.
Mhm.
And so it was a little muffled, or maybe I just had it turned up too loud. I don't know. But it was a little muffled. And I was like, why is this girl singing about shakshuka? And so now that I've said that, you can't unhear it. So next time you hear yourself singing that song, you're going to be like,
great.
shakshuka?
I mean, shakshuka is pretty dramatic.
It's a dope reason to write a song, right?
Yeah.
You have a song on there. It's all one word, but if I got it correctly, it breaks down like this: word, sword, swords.
Yes, you are not the first person to
Are you
to
shitting
claim
me? Oh my gosh. Well, now I have to kill myself. It's called Words, Words, Words. What inspired that song?
It's about feeling anxious. It's just the kind of a poetic description of the way I feel when I'm feeling anxiety.
Well, I am so sorry to make you feel anxious. We're just friends here. We're just chit-chatting. My favorite song, Don't Feel Bad.
Oh,
No, that's my actual favorite song.
okay.
The song Don't Feel Bad. Is it about someone in particular?
Yes.
Cool. Let's not name that person,
Yeah, let's not.
but I don't like them. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, thank you.
I don't like them based on that song. That song is dope as hell.
Thank you so much.
I really, really like that song. This is a huge ask. Feel free to say no. Can I play that song on this episode?
Yeah, of course.
Would you do me a favor? It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Would you introduce it like you're a radio DJ?
Yes. Am I introducing it as myself or as some other radio DJ?
You're weird. Do it as Nina Blackwood. No, do it as you. Oh, do it as Dee Snider. No, do it as you.
I mean, would I say like, hello?
This is why it's my favorite thing in the whole world. Because every time I ask somebody to do it, they're just like, what would I say? And I always say the same thing. Have you ever listened to the radio?
Okay. I think I would say, hi, this is M from Survival Guide. You're listening to the Fascination Street podcast. This next song is called Don't Feel Bad by Survival Guide off of the brand new album Death Dreams.
Well done. I love it.
Thank you.
This song, as we previously discussed, it is called Death Dreams. It is inspired by some dreams that you had because you died.
Yep.
Was it just 3 death dreams?
It was. It was 3 dreams, and only 2 of them made it to the record. The third one I have not finished yet.
Because you're mad?
I just ran out of time, you know.
Okay, so one of them was I'll Picture You. What was the other one?
The other one was Lady Neptune.
Lady Neptune. That's a really cool song, too. So why electric music? Or what do you call it? Electronica? What are you calling it?
It's been in the back of my mind. I want to ask you what genres you feel like this record is, because I am kind of lost when people ask me what kind of music it is. My default is this long, just like, well, it's indie, electronic, sort of poppy, 80s synthy music.
Okay, so stop saying indie, because that implies that nobody's ever heard of it and nobody cares about it.
Well, but I don't want people to think it's like pop, like Ariana Grande or something, you know, like it's definitely not that. I feel like it's got a little bit more like rawness to it, which is where the indie factor is.
Okay, so if you were to put early Trent Reznor into a room with sort of middle Green Day, Lana Del Rey is hanging out over on the side of the room having a drink. There's other things in there, but it's like you took a little bit from everything that you listen to.
Yeah.
Plus, you have some of the catchy hookness of like the Beatles. All right, relax. Calm down. except we can understand what you're saying instead of them. I think that it's all over the place. It is dance music. It is electronic music. I wouldn't call it punk at all.
No.
But I would call it pop-ish, but not pop.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not Ariana Grande. It's not, I can't name anybody else because I'm old. Oh, you know what? I found it. I found your complete description. If the Fine Young Cannibals had made a second album, then this is not it at all.
That's my new tagline.
That's one of the things I like about it is that it has a little bit of something for everybody, I think. It's not going to melt your face, which melting your face is cool for some people and it's cool in certain scenarios, but I don't think melting your face is good for everybody, right?
Right.
But it is catchy. You could dance to it. I mean, I don't dance, but one could.
Yeah.
But you can also sing along and you can just not say anything and just listen to it while you're driving. I was doing that yesterday. I had a long drive and I was just like, oh, I'll throw this on. And I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't singing along because I don't know most of the words, but it is something that you can listen to. It's inoffensive, but also the lyrical content gets you to thinking. And like, I found myself daydreaming during listening to this album. And then I had to go back. I was like, oh, well, that because some of your stories got me to thinking about other things. And I was like, no, you missed a song or two there, idiot. Go back. I don't know. It's kind of a thought-provoking. I don't want to say emo because that has connotations as well, but I think it is a thought-provoking poppy chanteuse synth electronica. Oh, I hate myself.
I love that. That sounds perfect. No, it's great.
Yeah, just stick with the Fine Young Cannibals. Album 2. Emily.
Yes.
Tell everybody where they can find you on Twitch.
I am on Twitch.
Yeah. What do you do there?
I do a couple things on Twitch. I started my Twitch channel so that I could
show everybody your breakdance skills.
No, I wish. That would be amazing. No, I wanted to build my confidence with my instrumentation. So I wanted to get better at performing my songs and playing piano and also stay warmed up vocally because it was, late in the COVID era and a lot of people had already been doing it. I was late to the streaming train, but I decided, you know what, like this could be cool. I can just learn songs, learn my own songs, play old songs, do some covers, just kind of do whatever, but also work on my own skills and my ability to be vulnerable because I am primarily a vocalist. And I decided I need to figure out how to be able to perform by myself better and more. So I started the channel and it is under Survival Guide Music is my handle on that platform and on Instagram. Right now, what I've been doing is on Tuesdays, I'll do a live learn or a practice stream where I'm just learning something new or trying to get better at something that I've recently learned. I don't know how to read music or tabs. I play bass sometimes on there. That's actually when I wrote the song Don't Feel Bad. That was a sort of a surprise challenge that I was invited to do on someone else's Twitch channel, was to write a song for a stream. So I wrote that one on bass and I play it during my streams. Fridays, I do request streams. So I have a list of songs that I have learned to play and memorized, but they're very loose because I don't know how to read music. So people request songs that they want to hear and I play them and it's a ton of fun.
Now tell me about Patreon. You're on Patreon as well. What kinds of things do you do for your patrons?
So on Patreon, we have a lot of events on there too. For certain tiers of rewards, I will do birthday songs. I'll send people songs that I record for them for their birthdays. I have some like exclusive merch that I will send out depending on what level you are. And we have karaoke streams where I'll do karaoke requests and I'll like learn songs for that too. And we do a vinyl party stream every month where I pull from my own vinyl collection and we listen to records together.
It's almost like you have this obsession with vinyl.
Almost, yes.
How many albums do you have? How many vinyl records do you have in your collection?
I don't know. People have said that I should get on Discogs and like enter my whole collection, but that just seems like a lot of work.
Oh my God, that sounds so terrible.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing that.
No,
I
thank
kind
you.
of would like to know how many records I have. Not a ton. I would guess maybe like 300 or something like that. So not an insane amount of records.
And it's all Frank Sinatra. Is that right?
Yes.
Original pressings of Frank Sinatra. That's cool. Tell everybody where they can find you all over the social media.
I've got some things under Survival Guide Music and other things are under Survival Guide without vowels.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. This maybe was a terrible idea, but the band name Survival Guide was not taken. And my guitar player and I thought that it was a great band name. And we were like, why does nobody have this band name? And then when we searched, though, we were like, oh, yeah, when you type in Survival Guide, it's really hard to find. There's so many different survival guides out there for all different industries and the music industry as well. So we decided maybe we will do this thing. The name of the band has the vowels, like the actual band name has the vowels. But if you were to search, we were hoping that the Survival Guide without vowels, like the hashtag, could do well and whatnot. So that's the website.
Do you sell merch with the name no vowels on it?
No, I used to do shirts that had like a little back print on them at the top that had Survival Guide with no vowels. And I have done some other merch that sort of hints to that. Are you implying that you think I should do that?
I'm so sorry if that was the implication.
Oh, no.
I meant to say it straight out. Yes, do that.
Oh.
I don't mean to imply it. I mean, yes, actually do that.
Yeah.
That's dope as hell. It's unique. It's exclusive. And it's one of those things where if you know, you know. And if you don't, well, then you're stupid. That way, your listeners and your followers can have good reason to feel better than everybody else because they are in on the...
Yeah, it's exclusive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Emily Whitehurst, I can't believe it has already been 4 hours. Before I let you go, is there anything that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about specifically that you wanted to talk about today? Like, did I miss anything?
Oh, let's see. We talked about the album. You told me your favorite song off of it.
Well, don't feel bad.
I would like to say that one thing that I have in the works right now is that I'm working on a cocktail recipe book that is a companion to Death Dreams that has a cocktail recipe for every song on the record.
Really?
Yeah.
What drink pairs well with Don't Feel Bad?
So what I created for each song was something that was somehow related to the song in some way, or a way that I felt what type of drink the song implied to me.
It's just a glass of bitters.
Don't Feel Bad. So the lyrics mention red wine and a cherry. So this drink does have a little bit of ruby port in it, but it is also a light drink because I felt like the Don't Feel Bad should be like a brunch drink, like something that you drink at brunch, maybe after you were out all night. I don't personally do that. I'm not a fan of the hair of the dog, but I feel like a lot of people are. So I figured this should be like a brunchy type drink. So it's a sparkling drink that involves the ruby port as one of the mixers, and it has a cherry in it to go with those lyrics.
Now, you said that you're making a cocktail book that's a companion to the album.
Yes.
What made you come up with this idea?
I don't remember exactly, but I know that it originated from a conversation on Twitch during a Twitch stream. I like to make cocktails and formulate cocktails, and I can't remember exactly how it came about, but it just sort of came together as an idea of something, a fun project to add to this album.
And where can people find that?
It's not ready yet.
When it is, where can people find it?
I'm not totally sure. I'm hoping to actually distribute it digitally like a book. I'm looking into potentially having it on Amazon, like to be able to download. But I know that my various online stores can accommodate digital sales of that kind of content as well. So I will probably sell it on my own stores.
Rad. Do you have a website for the band?
Yes, it's srvvlgd.com.
That's not weird. Oh, okay, I get it. It's Survival Guide with only vowels. Got it.
Yep, with no vowels.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay, well, rad. Emily Whitehurst from the band Survival Guide. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic making cocktails based on the new album tracks schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
It was 100% my pleasure. And the next time you're having it, is there a mailing list or something where people can get on to find out when you're going to play?
Yeah, there's an email list.
Is it a server?
Yes, you can sign up for the list on my website.
Okay, cool. Are you doing any shows anytime soon in San Antonio?
I don't have any booked, but I do plan on doing some Texas runs coming up in the new year. I can let you know whenever I'm playing San Antonio next.
That'd be super dope. Or even Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie's great.
Not last September, but the September before. There's a little venue in Bernie. It's called the Roundup. Usually they have country acts or whatever, but September of 2022, I could not believe they came to Small Town Bernie, but it was the I Love the 90s tour.
Oh, uh-huh.
And so it was like Young MC and Color Me Bad.
Whoa.
It was supposed to be Coolio, but he missed that show. And then 3 days later, he died.
Oh, yeah. I remember that he was supposed to play the area.
Yeah, he was supposed to play here. And then the headliner was, wait for it, Vanilla Ice. And I was like, these fools are coming to Bernie? So we went to that for sure. And it was a blast. So play some shits out here and things.
Yeah, I would love to.
I know you got to lug a bunch of equipment around when you do it.
I mean, that's playing shows, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Emily Whitehurst from the band Survival Guide with the new album, Death Dreams, with my favorite song, Don't Feel Bad. Thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy having a Christmas tree again as an adult.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Opening music is the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jax Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.